Here at the Benz Shop, we know a thing or two about keeping your vehicle in tip-top shape. My name is Adrian, here with the Benz Shop. I'll be talking with you about the Mercedes Service A and what is essential in the Service A procedure and why it's essential for your vehicle. The earliest that you would like to come in for a Service A would be generally within 3,000 to 5,000 miles of the service interval. Mercedes-Benz like to make their service intervals in the passenger cars 10,000 miles, and in the Sprinter vehicles, they like to make that service interval 20,000 miles. With those higher service interval vehicles, we like to shorten the service interval just in half to make sure that everything in that vehicle is still in safe operating conditions. With the Service A, of course, there are a multiple of components that we look at through the vehicle, but we generally look at the entire vehicle from bumper to bumper and everything in between. First and foremost, what we do is we go around the vehicle and we make sure that the body and trim panels are in okay condition, or at least in very good condition. So if anything is broken or damaged, we will note that in the inspection. Then we go into the AC system, making sure that that is blowing cold and or hot, depending on the temperature outside, making sure that the temperature within the vehicle is in great operation for the driver and passengers inside the vehicle. We also then look at whatever messages come up in the cluster, whether they can be the service indicator light or the check engine light or anything regarding the warning messages in the instrument cluster. We look at the wiper blades, the windshield condition. We look at the exterior light components like the headlights, the side mirror lights, and the tail lights to see if they're in operating condition. And if they don't work or if anything is not up to standard, we note that in the inspection and let the customer aware of what is going on with the vehicle. The engine bay, the first thing that I like to look for is any oil leaks. Of course, the oil filter is right here. Generally, the oil filter housing is one of the common components that would like to leak. So I like to look for any engine oil leaks in this area. In the inspection, we also look at the serpentine belt, which is right here. Serpentine belt, in most cases, would either crack, or the idler pulleys that guide the serpentine belt, they start making noise because of the bearings. We also like to look at the engine air filters in here to make sure that they are clean and allow air to fully enter the engine. We also like to look at other fluids as far as brake fluid, making sure that the fluid has been flushed and or in good condition, meaning clean and clear. We also look at windshield washer fluid. We top this up, and when we top this up, we make sure that the reservoir does not leak, and if it does, we let them know where it's leaking and what components to replace. We also look at the level of the coolant reservoir, and if it's low, we check to make sure there isn't any active leaks within the cooling system as far as water pump, hoses, or radiator. Generally, we always make sure that this is full, and if it is low, we check the components that may or may not be leaking. We furthermore start going into major components like the engine mounts, whether it's causing vibration in the vehicle for the customer. With the engine mounts, of course, a vibration could come along when they get collapsed, or it could start creating a vibration whether they start getting collapsed or not. After that, we start looking at suspension components, struts, air struts, hydraulic components, whether it has hydraulic suspension. We look to see if there's any leaks, tears, or anything that is out of the ordinary bent. From there, we start looking at the fuel system. One of the common issues with these vehicles is sometimes they will create a fuel leak from the fuel tank, whether it's the fuel pumps on the fuel tank. Moving forward with the inspection, we throw the vehicle in the air and we start looking at the underbody condition of the vehicle, anything that we are able to see and or touch as far as underbody goes. When it comes to wheels and tires, I like to note out these little scuff marks here to make sure that the customer's aware, whether they are aware or not, just to make sure that they know that this isn't a cause that we are doing, that this is how the vehicle came in. I also like to make sure that it spins freely, and if there's any bends in the wheel, I feel like they should also be aware of that, just to make sure that there isn't any weird vibrations that they're feeling while they are driving. I like to look at the thrust arm bushings to make sure that these bushings are in good condition, control arms to make sure that these bushings are in good condition as well. Then we look at the exhaust. Here is a very common area that these catalytic converters like to crack as well, so I like to look at that. Furthermore, I like to look at the pan and to make sure that this pan is as dry as can be, or if it is leaking, let them know that it's leaking so that we can do a service. As we come back more, these are the panels that I like to make sure that are in good condition. As you can see, they get a few scrapes here and there, so if there is any damage here, we like to let them know. And then we come back here to the differential. Differential will either leak or need a service, and usually that is what we will do. If it's leaking, then we will replace what is leaking, and if it needs a service, we'll do a service. These axles here, they like to tear here at the boot or over here at this boot and throw grease. So we like to make sure that that is in good condition and dry as well. And then just come back here to make sure that everything else as far as the body goes is straight and in good condition. The only thing that I found when I did my inspection were a small oil leak at the front of the engine that I'm going to be taking care of later. If you need to get a service done and or you have any other issues within your vehicle, within your Mercedes-Benz that you would like us to address, please come on by to the Benz Shop and we will do everything in our power to take care of the vehicle.